Welcome to my presentation on becoming a teacher. In this presentation, I'm going to describe some of the future trends and things to know about being a teacher in the modern era, some of the things to watch out for, some of the things that have happened in the past, and their effects on the future. So, about me, I'm an aspiring teacher. It's been a goal of mine for a while now to become a history teacher upon graduation. And I've always had a passion for teaching. I love the profession. And right now I'm going to UB, and that's where I'm pursuing my bachelor's and eventually master's in education. And right now I have an associate's degree in arts, which I got from community college. How has COVID affected the teaching profession? Here's a quote. It says, "There were times when I felt and feel like I've had enough. I don't want to do this anymore because you can't see any light in the tunnel." I think that sums up how a lot of teachers felt during the profession. I think a lot of teachers were ready to quit. I think a lot of teachers were extremely stressed out during the pandemic and everything. And I think that was a common thought many teachers is, can I do this anymore? Do I want to do this anymore? And just in a bad state. So has the profession, or here's some of the stressors and things that teachers had to deal with based on just race and everything. It's just, there was a lot of stress. There was a lot of things causing stress. There was just a lot in general. But has the profession recovered from this? Let's find out. So job placement. A lot of people believe that during the pandemic, and from that prior quote, that a lot of teachers just got fed up and quit. But according to Abigail Swisher, who is a professional teacher, and she's a professional analysis, she analyzes data and stuff like that. She says that the teachers quit rate is still about average from what it was prior to the pandemic. So what that means is that there wasn't a mass exodus of teachers during the pandemic, and there wasn't a surplus of teachers during the pandemic. So there's not a huge dip and there's not a huge rise in the amount of teachers. So should you change your profession based on job placement? I don't believe so. I think that job placement in teachers is about the same what it was. In fact, job openings are actually outpacing the jobs at a rapid pace. So there's more jobs than there are people to fill that jobs. And part of that is because many school districts got a lot of stimulus money, and some school districts use that stimulus money to add actually more teaching jobs instead of less. So it's actually opposite than what a lot of people think. What can I expect once I do get a job? Well, here's another little fun quote for you of how some people felt during the pandemic, where it feels like we're building an airplane while it's already flying. So what does that mean? What can you expect? I think you expect there's a lot of stress involved with the job, especially post-COVID and during COVID. And I think a lot of teachers are struggling with their mental health, or were struggling with their mental health due to COVID. But prior to COVID, pandemic teachers, were no worse off than their college educated counterparts is in the mental health category. So college educated people were on average they had even mental health states prior to the pandemic. Now post pandemic, or during the pandemic, teachers did spike. Their mental health was worse off than a lot of other people. But the good news is that if things do return back to normal, they should be on par with other college-educated peers. And here's a picture of a protest and everything that just made teachers, and some of the stressors and just the chaos of COVID. So should you still become a teacher? Obviously, that's totally up to you. There's mental health concerns, blah, 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 everything, but I think COVID is passing, and I think in time, things are going to return to how they were prior to COVID, and I think that's happening at a rapid pace.